Check, check. Hello, Katie, Hemant, Kate, Ali, family, friends, and of course, Gitanjali and Karim. I'm Callum. I think I've met most of you. Thank you, Katie, Hemant, Kate, and Ali, for putting on this wonderful event. It's amazing. It's such an honour to be here. What a special thing it is that Karim and Gitanjali's love for each other has brought us all here together, and what an honour it is to have been asked to be half of the best man. I was at a dinner the other day, and I was sat next to the guy I always get sat next to, and we got onto the topic of speeches. He had recently given a speech at his friend's wedding, and he said of it, "I loved it. I didn't want it to finish. When else in my life will I have a stage to perform on and a room full of people gazing at me?" He was a big fan of himself. His girlfriend piped in. They'd been one of those a laugh a minute type of speeches, while the mother of the groom said, "It wasn't for me." This is our moment, Miles.
Hello, I'm Miles, and the other half of the best man. The first thing we both felt when Karim asked us to be his best men was great pride, immediately followed by great fear. Fear because it dawned on us what a great responsibility we had. How could we ever do our wonderful friend justice? Fear because would everything change? And fear because we were going to have to sum up everything we wanted to say about this wonderful man in only 5 minutes. It's not possible, even for the greatest of speechwriters. And then on top of that, we were going to have to sum up everything we knew about this wonderful woman too. This task was beyond comprehension. How could we possibly do it? But then we relaxed and realised we didn't need to, because you guys knew already. That's the nature of being friends with Karim and Gitanjali. You can't help but feel their warmth, support, kindness and affection every day whenever you're around them. And that's the warmth and kindness that envelops us all at this party, and why it's so special that we're all here today. However, despite that, we thought we could say a little bit about what Karim and Gitanjali have meant to us over the years.
Both Miles and I met Karim early on in our lives. For Karim and I, all began in Hampstead, aged 8, two bowl haircut boys in maroon and black striped blazers, taking our first strides into the world, making our first friendships, really getting our first taste of the ups and downs of life. History was written in that school playground, and I can tell you, it wasn't all plain sailing. The great marble heist of 1998 was a defining moment in our relationship, and nearly spelled the beginning of the end.
I first met my friend Karim, not as a man, but as a myth. Rumours floating across the tennis courts and cricket pitches of Mutton Hill of a prodigious racket sports player, an elegant left-hander, the second son of 3 in a lineage of great sportsmen. When I finally came face to face with him across the wicket, in many ways I lost my marbles too. But very quickly our friendships grew, and we realised we were in the presence of a wonderful friend. Over the years we've shared classrooms and football pitches, film nights and festivals, and hangouts with the lads. And it's been an honour to be friends with Karim all that time. One of Karim's more funny traits is his wonderful ability to eulogise on himself. "Whatever they say of me, they can't say I'm not loyal," is one of his favourites. Or he might say, "You'd pick me, wouldn't you? In the heat of battle, you'd want me by your side." When Karim says these phrases, his tongue is firmly in his cheek, and yet you couldn't possibly know just how true they really are.
Karim is one of those friends who is always there for you when you need him most. I remember one New Year's Eve party in our younger years, where I'd been cornered by a foul-breathed Punisher, and I was consuming large amounts of vodka in an attempt to improve the situation. But soon enough, the inevitable happened, and I caught Karim's eye as I pursed my lips closed, covered my mouth, and headed for the bathroom. First bathroom, locked and big queue. Second bathroom, locked and even bigger queue. Looking down at the cream carpet, Karim reached for the front door and hurried me out and down the stairs, but I couldn't hold it back any longer. And in potentially the greatest act of friendship of all time, Karim reached out and caught the little bit of sick that slipped out. The cream carpet and my dignity had been saved.
That's not to say Karim is an angel. Despite his innocent exterior, he has a wonderful knack for mischief, and few things tickle him more than the odd, well-placed white lie. He once sat me down to watch his favourite film, The Master, by Paul Thomas Anderson, and told me it was a really short film. Only an hour and a half long. It wasn't. It was much, much longer.
Or that time, when he persuaded me to shimmy up between two poles with my legs apart, and promised me he definitely wouldn't kick me between the legs.
As a friend of Karim's, a phrase you might hear is, "This is not a dress rehearsal." It's often delivered on a Saturday afternoon when you're starting to feel a little sleepy and are dragging your heels about going out. It can mean a few things. It can mean, "Come on, pull yourself together." It can be a sign of just how much he cares about his friends having fun. But ultimately, what Karim is talking about is life itself. And it's that philosophy of making the most of life and of not taking things for granted that we see in the bond between Gitanjali and Karim. We knew Karim would find someone wonderful, and we also knew when he found that person, there could be no one better suited to caring for, looking after and loving them. We also knew, such a special person that he is, that he'd find someone who would do the same for him. However, we could never have expected that the person he found would be quite as wonderful as Gitanjali.
It was clear from the offset that something very serious and special was happening. Karim went about his business with a greater sense of mystery, but he could not hide his happiness and his obvious feelings for Gitanjali. It was clear that someone very special had arrived in all our lives. We got to know Gitanjali through social events, and whether it's a Saturday afternoon, after a night out, or going around for dinner, we always made to feel very welcome at 100 Camden Street. A happy home and a place where you feel welcome and content is a sign of a wonderful relationship. It is a testament to Gitanjali's kindness and thirst for human interaction that we have been made to feel so welcome into her and Karim's relationship. And we'd like to say thank you for that, Gitanjali. You're both so wonderful to be around because of how you complement each other. You have an amazing and quite comic ability to acknowledge and gently tease each other's weaknesses, but also to sturdily support each other and bring out your strengths. You share a love for life that cannot help but rub off on those around you.
An anecdote. A few years ago, a very rare thing happened. I was about to go on a date, and a very unrare thing happened. I was stressing out. On hearing this, Karim came straight over to keep me company, and seeing the state I was in, took me straight down to the Tate Modern to see some art. We'd hoped the visit to the Rothko room might calm me down. But on that day, things were beyond even Mr. Rothko in Karim's wise presence. And as I stood there in the turbine hall, staring at my phone, stressing out, Karim looked at me with a kind, understanding smile and said, "You really care." These words stayed with me. "You really care?" That's a strange thing to say, I thought. Of course I care, I'm terrified. And then I realised they weren't strange, not coming from Karim, because over the years that's been the defining trait of our friend. He really cares. About his family, his friends, his colleagues, about the world around him, about people he hasn't even met before, and people he may never even know. But in all our time knowing him, we've never seen him care about someone the way he cares about Gitanjali. Thank you for making our friend so happy.
And finally, I want to touch on Karim's fearlessness. It is his ability and courage to... That's not a joke. No, but seriously, it's his ability and courage to face the difficult conversations in life, to tackle the challenging issues that makes him a great friend, counsellor, and I'm sure partner. Here's to wishing you happiness in fearlessly forging into the future hand in hand. After all, This is not a dress rehearsal. Gitanjali and Karim, and more food. Let's raise a toast.